fine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Truth Be Told, where we uncover the raw, unfiltered truth behind extraordinary lives and journeys. I'm your host, The Billionaires, and joining me today is my amazing co-host, Misha. Hey, Misha.
Hello.
All right, so I had to make sure she was good. So, y'all, today, this is our very first episode of Truth Be Told podcast. I'm very excited. I've been nervous all week. And this moment is finally here. So today, our very first episode, it's going to be the journey of becoming after a betrayal, right? So we'll be discussing today like the journey of becoming after such an experience and incorporating personal stories, and practical steps for our listeners. And I don't want you guys to think that truth be told is actually like a trauma bonding podcast, because that's not what we are. If you're alive today, you've had problems in your life. So this is a podcast you can come on. We're gonna express how we feel and give you guys some of our stories. We'll be inviting some of you guys to our podcast next week. We actually have a special guest, and week after that we have another guest that come on our podcast. They're gonna tell their amazing story. But it's always, when we're going through life, we look at obstacles, right? But with every problem, there is a solution. So that's what this podcast is for. We're gonna give you hope. We're gonna give you inspiration. We're gonna give you some of our solutions as well, because both of myself and Misha, we've been through a number of things, and we can give you some insight on how you can actually go about, just bettering yourself. And this is a non-judgmental podcast. So, hey, look, y'all gonna hear my story. You're gonna hear Misha's story. So we've done it. And if we haven't done it all, we know somebody who's done it. So it's non-judgmental. So you're free to come on here, talk about what you want to talk about. And we're just gonna kick it off. Hey, Misha. Misha, pause for a minute.
I'm
All
here.
right. Oh, okay. So, Misha, before you get on, I no, go ahead. Go ahead, Misha. You want to say something, Misha, real quick?
I just want to say that, we are just here to share our truth. That's why it's called the truth be told. And let everyone know that no matter what you go through, you can get through it. And again, leading by example is something that we've always heard about. And that's what we are here to do, to let you know, to show you that we've been through things, but we get through it. It's what life is about. And I know, I was asked the other day, do I know my purpose? I know that's one of my reasons is to let people know that you can get whatever you can go through. And I like to say you can grow through what you go through. So yeah.
Yep. So, Misha, you was like a
I'm
robot
in the
for a
store,
minute.
so it's
Oh, okay. All right. So, what, Misha? What are some things come with betrayal? What's your understanding of betrayal?
um betrayal is when someone lets you down, when someone do something to hurt you, when someone kind of like turn their back on you per se, like do something that you wouldn't expect,
Mm-hmm.
and it weighs on you and it hurts you, and it's like, yeah, and it has you like, why, how? Most of the time when we're betrayed, we're like, yes. Most of the time when we're betrayed, we're like, why and how and who and all the things, but it happens. So
And it's funny that we actually had our first topic on betrayal, because earlier, was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. Something came to my mind. It was just like I was laying in the bed, and it was like Samson and Delilah, right? So I
uh-huh.
was like, what's what's Samson and Delilah? Like I didn't, I'm a spiritual person, and I know the Bible, some of it, but I don't know the scriptures and stuff. So I didn't know who Samson and Delilah was. So I'm like Samson and Delilah. So I googled it. I was asked. I spelled Samson like the Samsung, like the phone, because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I spelled it, but in Google brought up Judges 16, 4 through 18. And I
Uh-huh.
was, I was telling you last week, Misha, that I was pondering like, why did that come up? But after reading those verses, and I think it ties into what we're going to talk about tonight, the journey of becoming after a betrayal. Because
Uh-huh.
those of you who don't know the story of Samson and Delilah, I just learned it myself, and I'm very intrigued by it. But Samson was he was given a gift from God, like all of us, and his gift was strength, right? But his only vow to God was, he cannot give away the secret, right? And he had long, long hair, right? So he met this young lady named Delilah, and he fell in love with her, right? So Delilah was tempted by some outsiders, Philistines, and long story short, they offer her some money to give, the for the secret, Samson's secret, where his strength came from, right? And she did it on multiple tries, right? And he he didn't tell her the first three tries, but on that last try, he believed, he loved her. He thought she loved him as well, but he did not know that she was actually asking him that to deceive him. Not only did she deceive him, but he deceived God as well. So I think that's ultimate betrayal as well. So he actually gave her the secret, and it he got his eyes gouged out, and he also went to prison. But at the end, he did triumph at the end, because what you'll find out by the end of this podcast, like with any betrayal, you just don't stop, you don't give up, you keep going, and no matter if you do have shackles on your feet. And what that tied into, I would say relationships, because sometimes we don't always have shackles on our feet, but we do have we be in prison in our minds, right? So I think that's what God placed that on my heart today, because it does tie in into the segments that we're going to be discussing today.
Okay. That's good. I like that. And like you say, it's amazing that the story definitely resonates with the title and the subject, because that's how betrayal happens. Things don't happen from strangers. Well, things do, but let's say, okay, it's rare that you're gonna have any type of situation happen with a stranger. So betrayal is mostly from someone that you trust. And they said with Samson and Delilah, see, he trusted her, and look at what happened. He was betrayed.
Right.
That's the reason why trust is very delicate. Trust is like love. Sometimes I think trust is, you have to. Well, I don't know. That's another story. I was gonna say you have to trust someone to love them, but if
I wanna ask you something about that, Misha. So why is it that when someone betrays your trust, why is it that the one who betrayed you actually put a timeline on that trust? Like, okay, now I've changed. Now you're supposed to all of a sudden like trust me. Like the listeners on this call, how can do you supposed to put a time limit on trust? Like when somebody has betrayed you, what's your opinion on that?
so, my opinion on that, and this is only my opinion. No one wants to be betrayed. No one wants to be heart broken or none of that, right? However, it happens. So when you do something to someone, you can't choose how they respond. And um, when you betray someone, trust is broken. Okay. And so when the trust is broken, you don't have it's no time limit on when I get over it. If I have to forgive, but I don't have to forget. And people who have a time limit and all this on, when they do something, they have a say so on how you respond, how you react. First of all, when you betray somebody, that right there is it's a it's a hurtful thing. It's a cold thing, okay? And then on top of that, for you to um um want to control how they respond, how they react, and all that, I don't agree with it. I think that's not good. But again, betrayal usually comes from people we love, not just intimate love, friends, family, coworkers, or whatever. And oftentimes, especially when it's from um an intimate partner, we forgive them and give them a chance to do it over and over again. And then eventually you get tired. I mean, I've seen that time and time again. Everybody's not the same, but I've seen it time and time again. And I think we have to break the cycle on allowing people to treat us bad, allowing people to betray us. And what I've heard, and I've heard a long time ago, many times, time and time again, you teach people how to treat you. And I really just grasping a hold to the concept because um when you forgive a person over and over again, then that's just what it is. So um well, no, it's okay to forgive, but you don't have to forget, but you don't have to keep giving a person an opportunity to keep doing the same thing over and over again too. So yeah.
Yeah, and even this statement is about the journey of becoming after betrayal. And I think like if somebody betray you, they never get that same person back. Each time they take something away from you, each time that you keep going back after a betrayal. At least I can't speak from my own personal experience. I can't speak for anyone else, but I know it after my betrayals, I never went back as the same person. And I think for myself, I know we can work through everything. You got to water that grass where you at. That's quote unquote what they always say, right? But it's like, why? To me, I don't
Right.
want to live in I don't want to live in prison, because in back of my mind, I'm still gonna be thinking some crazy stuff because like it takes time, and we can't put a time limit on building that trust back. I'm not saying it can't be done. One day I will mature enough to actually hopefully change my mind, but I just feel like I'll be living in prison. Well, I have lived in prison when I went back, because it was just like I still had it in the back of my mind, and my soul wasn't comfortable with it, and I never could let it go. And every time we had a dispute, it always went back to what you did, and that's when the stuff started coming up. I kept regurgitating the past, when we're trying to move forward. So I think like if I want to heal or heal that trust, I have to give a little time for myself, get a little break. Then I might go back. But I cannot I forgot that quote. You can't, and I believe you can't heal in the same environment that hurt you or something like that. I forget. You know what quote I'm talking about? Your phone went mute. I mean when I it's mute, Nisha. Your your phone mute.
I'm sorry, what you say?
I said, did you hear me?
I heard you. You said um something about when you regurgitated. Yeah, I mean, and we have to take things in. It's part of it. And but as long as you learn a lesson, then I've heard people say like, I ain't taking no L's. Well, a L is a loss, but when you learn something, then you actually won. So, you know,
Right.
and And when we think things are sent to destroy us, it actually it actually helps us. Everything happens for a reason, you know what I'm saying? And we have to learn to take the good with the bad. And long as you get the lesson in whatever, then you win. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
But
and that ties
betrayal is
into
definitely.
like I guess finding a way forward after betrayal, because acceptance is crucial. It's a crucial step in moving forward after betrayal. And you got to
And we don't
accept
like
what
to do that.
happened. Right? Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're condoning it, but you're just accepting it. Um, and you got to do some self reflection. I Mish, I think it was you like a few months ago. Was it you who said you got to look at what you allow and some stuff? But you gave me a hard truth a couple months ago, about a month ago. You remember? You gave me a
I
hard truth.
remember.
So yeah, I had to look at myself. So self-reflection, it can also play a significant role in understanding, our feelings and begin the healing process. Even though you don't want to hear it, and I appreciate you being transparent with me because I didn't want to hear it. It's just like, okay, like dang, okay, let me put my big girl shoes on. So, but self-reflection, we don't self-reflect. We always look to blame somebody else, after betrayal. But you got to look at what role you played in that as well. And also you got to understand
Uh,
like why are you attracting uh, certain people? I know me for myself, I'm an empath. So I tend to attract damaged people, narcissists and stuff like that. But my last incident, or not incident, oh that's crazy. My last encounter, um it was it taught me a lot about myself, you know what I'm saying? And it triggered me. And it was a lot of things that I thought I had let go of, but it actually triggered me, and I went through the dark night of the soul, and a lot of that stuff came back up. So actually, some people in your lives, we can't always be mad at them because they're here to teach us as well, and you got to understand where you play a part in that. Like why I keep attracting these type of people. So
what did I
if
just
they,
say?
huh?
What did I
What
just
you
say?
say?
When you get the lesson, you actually won. And like
Yeah. What you say? Your phone out.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I said that's what I
Nah.
was saying.
What?
We get mad and we look at it as a loss, and it hurts us. However, if we really, like you say, self-reflect and see the lesson, then it's not so bad at all. Like I said, things that were sent to destroy us, sometimes it can actually help us because we learn from it. As long as you learn, then you win.
Right. And I want to talk about perspective as well, because a lot of people have a perspective or perception, like if somebody hurt us, it's like you turn bitter instead of better. So I've been pondering all week on how to like actually help to put my how I did not become bitter. You know what I'm saying? And I chose
Right.
to do better. But it's like how, I mean, like everyone has a choice. So it's like there's nothing you can really teach, you know? Because everyone has a choice. You either have to let it teach you something or make you even bitter. And you can't go. I had told you the other day, this was years back, right? After I went through a heartbreak, I was disconnected. I was afraid of commitment and a lot of things. And I came across this gentleman, real nice guy. And I cut him. And he wasn't the one who cut me. But I hurt him, and I actually, it didn't bother me. I felt empowered because I did hurt him. And I was just like, you know what? That's not me. I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I wonder what goes through people's mind when they continue, because that does get. I swear I was empowered. Like, okay, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I hurt somebody, and I'm ashamed to say that, but hopefully by me saying that and speaking my truth, that it can help somebody else. But at the end of the day, I was just like, no, that's not who I am. And that person did not cut me. Why am I going to cut that person? So therefore, I was like, no, I gotta heal. Everybody has to heal after any heartbreak. You have to heal because you're gonna go cut someone else. And a lot of people that empower me the way that it felt so good to have control, and it was just something. And I'm just like, a lot of people tap into that and they stay right there. They don't go and just be like, no, 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 no. That's not right. They keep doing it over and over again. They get empowered by it. But I couldn't. I did it once, and I just could not hurt anybody that didn't hurt me. I didn't feel good about that once I thought about it.
So it's what I'm hearing, that you was hurt, and so you didn't like the feeling, and you just wanted to do what had been done to you to someone else. And then this is what it sounds like I'm hearing. And once you done it, you was reminded of how you felt when it was done to you. And so that allowed you to feel sympathy for the person who you did it to, because again, they say do unto others as we would want done to unto us. And so that that's not what you want. That that's not what you deserve. But since you've experienced it, that's what you received it, and so you put it back into the universe, which typically
But
happens. That's what. Excuse me.
the weird thing about it, I didn't go into that relationship wanting to do that. I was none. I didn't even realize I was non-committal at that time. I didn't take the time to heal. I didn't know, and I did it. I had one foot in and one foot out the door. So I shouldn't even went on to another relationship. I should just took the time to heal, and I didn't do that. And I ended up hurting somebody else. Thank God, he and I are, we're cool right now. But it's like I hurt that person, and I just I turned to I turned to the person who hurt me. And this is not saying it's true. Hurt people hurt people. Yep.
And that's why we have to be careful what we allow into our space, our energy, our spiritual realm, because we only can. Okay, I can't give you $1,000,000 because I don't have it. But like you said, hurt people hurt people. If I have hurt in me, I have hurt to give. I have betrayal in me. I have betrayal to give. That's why you got to be careful what you allow, because when we allow things and it takes a toll on us in a good or bad way, it becomes a part of us, whether we want to admit it or not. That's like when we receive encouragement, wisdom. We have encouragement and wisdom to give because it's in us. When we receive heartache and betrayal, we have it to give because it's in us. That's why hurt people hurt people. And on that note, that's why we have to build ourselves up. We have to make sure that we have all the good things, all the wisdom, all the encouragement, to be able to deal with the hard times, because the hard times come, you know. Um, Someone told me yesterday, this is just a season. We have 4 seasons: winter, summer, spring, fall. In the If you prepare in the summer, spring, and fall, then you'll be prepared for the winter. The winter is one of the hardest months. It's cold. You have to have extra clothing. Winter storms come. You have to warm your car up. You have to be able to weather the cold, but you must prepare for it. So that's what we have to do in our lives. Things happen, and And that's
Right.
one of the things I heard somewhere. That's one of the worst things we can do is think or tell ourselves that things aren't supposed to happen. That's where we mess up at. Once we understand it's life, nothing is perfect, nobody's perfect, and things are gonna happen. It's like putting on armor. It's like putting on protective gear. You build yourself up and you meditate daily. That's preparing yourself. You already are in a space, a space of contentment, a space of peace. That's what meditation does. So when you're faced with adversity, when you're faced with challenges, you know how to deal with it. So that's something that everyone, we must do that. We must put on our armor. We got to stay prayed up. We have to meditate. We have to keep your eyes on the prize, per se. You have to focus on what you really want. And then when the betrayal comes, because if you deal with people, it's coming. When the
Mm-hmm.
heartache, when the heartache comes, if you deal with people, it's coming. When the disappointments come, if you deal with people, it's coming. And when I say deal with people, it's not all about intimate and romantic relationships with your husband or your wives or your boyfriend, girlfriend. It's on your job. When you go to the drive-through, when you go in the grocery store, when you call in to pay a bill, if you have interaction with people, you're gonna have things happen that you don't agree with. But long as you have primed your and conditioned your mind to accept and deal with it, you can deal and you can get through. So that's just that's something that I learned, and I'm happy that I can share that to the listeners because that's something that I do all the time.
Right.
Shit
And
happens,
then
life
like,
happens.
yeah, and basically like you gotta embrace that journey too of becoming after a betrayal. Because that could be a catalyst for personal growth. From my experience, that was a catalyst for personal growth. And it it forced me to like actually look at myself, you know what I'm saying? It did. And then like after that, it was after that I wrote a workbook on mending heart. So I turned my pain into a purpose. You know what I'm saying? I transmuted my pain instead of like going into like that bitterness mode or hating that person or whatever. I actually transmuted that negative energy into something positive. And that's why I wish a lot of our listeners and anybody that come across the podcast, whether you're listening or watching it on YouTube or wherever you're watching it on Facebook, just when people will hurt you, just like Misha said, people will hurt you. You're living, somebody's gonna hurt you, betrayal, whatever. You have to transmute that negative energy into something positive, and you got to do it where it's helping not only yourself but somebody else. And like if you focus on, oh, that person hurt me, and I promise I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. I think life is like a playbook. You know how a coach has to review the tapes. Now you see what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Just only look back at those tapes and go back and look back, go through your life on, not to just use it as a crutch to be bitter, but use it as a playbook to be better. And now you know how the game go. You know what I'm saying? You can't hate the player. Can't hate the game at all. You know what I'm saying? So
Because
you just gotta just go
I've
ahead.
been I've been telling people, I've been saying this for the past couple of days when people try to convince me that this ain't that ain't this. The game don't change, the players do. The things that
Right.
we go through, our grandparents went through, their parents, our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors went through. But guess what? The difference in then and now is we have the tools such as the podcast. We have Google. We have therapy. Black people are really taking therapy counseling. I
Right.
advise anyone to, talk, get it off your chest. Whatever you got to do, get it off your chest, get it out.
A
Don't
lot of
live
people
with
can't talk. People can't talk to people because if some people confide in you, it's like when they get mad at you. they're gonna throw that up. So it's like a lot of people go within. They don't. I mean, they don't even let that stuff out because they don't want to have people throwing it up in their face. They don't want it out in the streets and nothing like that.
You don't have to. I didn't finish. You can go to counseling. You can go to therapy. You can write it down. You can say it out.
That's
Like
what I'm looking for.
I talk to myself. I be like, because guess what? Every question that we have the answer within us. Just think about it. Nobody knows Aya like Aya. Nobody knows Misha like Misha. So, I could ask you a question, I could ask your advice or your opinion, but guess what? I already have my thoughts. I already have my opinions. Early today, we were conversating, and you told me, you said, I don't want to say this, but this is the way I look at it and what I tell you. That's exactly how I feel. Again, the questions that we ask, we have the answer. We may have a couple of options, and somebody can confirm, or help us decide from the options. But the moral of the story is, it's not as hard as we make it. There's an answer to every question, okay? And 9 out of 10 times, the answer is within. You just have to look within. It's okay to ask yourself, like, now why the hell did I put on this blue shirt with these orange pants? Why did I do that? Well, you just did it because you was in a rush. Ask and you shall receive. That don't just mean
Right.
money. Ask the question and you shall receive
Right.
the answer. Anything that you're looking for, ask and you shall receive. But whatever you got to do, again, if you don't want to talk to somebody, talk to yourself, talk to God, but get it out. It's like shit. You got the boo-boo, you got to get it out. When you got to use the bathroom, you got to get it out. Don't hold on to it. Because when we hold on to things, it just fester and it cause pain to self, not no one else. When we hold on to that hurt, that betrayal, that heartache, all that stuff that we allow, listen to me. When we hold on to the things that we allow, because we have choices.
Right.
I didn't know that once upon a time, but now I realize everything that anybody has ever done to hurt me, I allowed it because I have choices. And so when we hold on to that, we're not hurting the person who did it. Again, if it's your friend, your sister, your brother, your daddy, your uncle, your man, your wife.
So you
But
said you allowed it. So that sounds like taking accountability to me.
and it's not easy to take accountability. It's much more easy to say, he did that, she did that, it did it, whatever. Once they did it, guess what? You taking the accountability, the weight off your shoulders, and you throwing it to them. And guess what else you throwing to them? You putting the blame on them, the accountability on them. They need to be accountable in your head. You like, they ain't been accountable. And you put in your healing, you're putting your overcoming, you putting everything to make you move forward. You putting it in the hands of somebody else. Why? Because you ain't got shit to do with it. It's them. It's their fault. So
Right.
I realized, in order for me to move forward from anything that has hurt me, I have to now I have to accept my role. Am I saying that, okay, she came to my house and she was trying to she came to my house and she was trying to fuck my baby daddy behind my back. Okay, boom. I don't like it, but guess what? I shouldn't have let the bitch in my house. So now that I know, guess what? I'm not gonna put myself in that situation again because I know my role was letting her in. Was she wrong? Yes, she was wrong. But guess what? I was wrong for letting in. Because 9 out of 10 times it was no good bitch anyway. We be knowing people. We
Right.
just be wanting to see like me and you always talk about, we see the potential in people versus the real. So when you look at your role, it helps you choose wisely, it helps you choose better next time, and it prevents you from making the same mistake. Because again, guess what? I know not to let them type of people in my space no more. I know not to do what my role that I accept, my role that I'm accountable for, whatever I did to allow, this to happen. I know not to do it again. So with me
And that's
not
just
doing it,
like going back looking at the playbook. You see. Yeah.
and so now I'm lessening my chances of this happening again. That's all. Life is about learning and growing, and knowing that it won't be perfect, but it's worth it. And what we must do is make the best of it because we only get one.
Yeah, and I look at life now. I look at life as a puzzle. Imagine like you got a 500-piece puzzle, putting it together. When you see, when you like got majority of it together, you just got the little middle section, and you have a few pieces over here, right? You get
Right.
a piece and it doesn't fit properly in that little section. You're not just gonna throw the whole puzzle away. Like forget it. I came this far, but just forget it. It ain't gonna work. But I see life as a puzzle because a lot of people do that. They get almost to that finish line and that growth spurt, and then they stop. They give up because one little piece doesn't fit. And I think like for me in the past, looking back and looking at my daughter, the past suicide attempt as well, it's like we look at we basically want to kill ourselves based on the past, not the future. You know what I'm saying? We're not actually looking at the future. So I think that's that's how I look at life now. Like that piece of that puzzle don't work. I'm just gonna keep picking it up. I'm not gonna never look back and be like, well, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff, it ain't working. Ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something else at the end. So we got to look at life like that too. And it's just it's a puzzle we putting together. You got to keep going. You got to be accountable, and the only way I tell people you got to look back only to look at what happened and learn from it, not to hold it as a crutch and not to be bitter.
And not to blame, not to like you say, um take it out on other people. If we use
Mm-hmm.
the tools that we're given in life, we'll be okay.
Yep, I do agree.
So
Yep. So, Misha, we're about to wrap this up. It's been almost 45 minutes. So, basically, what I want to say before we wrap it all up, betrayal, it can be devastating, a devastating experience, right? But it
it
can
is.
also be an
It's
opportunity. Yeah,
hurtful. It's
right.
hurtful.
And it can be an opportunity for growth and transformation. And you got to remember, like, we have the power to rebuild and reinvent ourselves. So, guys, we'd love to hear your stories and experience with betrayal or any other experiences that you have, even if good experiences. But right on this podcast, we want people on this podcast that has some experiences, and some triumphs and some victories too. And if you don't have any victories, you feel like you don't get on this podcast. I bet you're gonna bring out a victory. We're gonna show you that you did have some victories along that path. So yeah, so before we wrap this up, Misha, you got anything else?
I want to say that great things come from pain. Let me tell you, I've been through some pain, I've been through suffering. And one of the root causes to suffering is feeling like, why me? How me? And when you say why me and how me, you feel like you're the only one. I don't care who you are, you'll never be the only person to go through nothing. It ain't what you go through, it's how you get through it. And from pain, you know, it's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? Think about giving birth. It's painful. When you're in labor, it's painful, very painful. You cry, when I was in labor, I screamed, hollered, and it was unbearable. That's kind of how I feel with dealing with betrayal, heartache, and all. But guess what? They tell you push, push, push. That's how life is. You got to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Guess what? When that baby born, oh, it melts your heart. It's like the most beautiful thing in the world. So that's how we got to do with pain. We got to keep pushing, 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 no matter how hard it is. And when it's over with, it's gonna be beautiful.
Yep. And I see a lot of people on social media. I'm on TikTok a lot, but I see a lot of people just talking about heartaches and stuff. So, I'm glad a lot of people are actually voicing their opinion about it, because sometimes, normally they will keep it inside. So,
It's
I want to
hard.
congratulate those who actually speak on it. So, yeah, y'all keep up the good work. If that's you I'm talking to, just keep up the good work and just keep like pushing forward. Like Misha said, you got to keep pushing.
And I'm saying this because heartache comes, baby. I probably have been on the phone with you crying. You probably have been on the phone with me crying. Don't even know. But guess what? You got to keep going. It's gonna be okay. Our
Right.
friend, man, he used to always tell me. I used to think, oh, the world was coming down on me. He'd be like, it's gonna be all right. That's always his answer. It's gonna be all right. I'm thinking, Mom, what you mean it's gonna be all right? This ain't gonna be all right. I'm sad. It was probably
Right.
9 out of 10 times about me. I'm sad he did da da da. Oh, it's gonna be all right. Guess what? It's all right. It's all right. It's
And
gonna
y'all, and
always be
before we
okay.
end this, I want you guys to know, people, we want to deal with real people. We don't want to deal with infections that refuse to heal. So don't go around acting like an infection, and don't go around causing infections on other people. You got to sit back, you got to heal.
And don't and
You
okay,
got
you know the problem. We all know the problem. Focus on the solution. Once you got the problem, you got it. Now
it.
let's find a
That's it.
solution.
That's it.
Because it's
Yep.
always a solution. Like you said, it's always a solution.
Yep. And that's what Truth Be Told is about. It's the solution. Definitely a solution. So guys, until next time, I'm the host, the Billionaires, and co-host the wonderful Misha, and we are the Truth Be Told podcasters, and we'll see you guys here every night, Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on YouTube. So go ahead, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to YouTube. If you're watching us on Apple Podcast, iHeart, any Spotify, any of those, go ahead and subscribe to the channel on Truth Be Told podcast. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.
And bye bye.